at the table. She is one of 4 on our panel of judges. I'd like to, at this point, introduce you to the other 3 judges who will be joining her at the table. Ladies first, Emily Socash. She's the founder of the Mission Labs Leadership Lab, and she's also the executive director of the Jewish Federation of Canales and Pastoral Churches. Joining the ladies on our panel of judges are Rich Mullins, who's the account director at the prestigious Tucker Hall PR and communications firm and a former business reporter. And also Louis Orloff, who is the managing director of Orloff Advisors, business growth consultants. As I said at the start of the program, the judges will have 4 minutes of question and answer with each representative from our nonprofits that are competing tonight, and that will start immediately after they do their 3-minute presentation. That's 180 seconds, and they are going to make every single second count. My job is to help be the timekeeper. There's a gentleman in the audience that's going to have the 30 seconds and then the no more, stop talking, pretty please. And if our speaker does not stop talking at this point, I'll walk over and give him a nice hug, the arm hug, and kind of walk on. Hopefully that won't be necessary. So, are you ready? The clock does not start until I hand the representative the microphone. So everybody gets the same 3 minutes. Okay, we begin. Competitor number 1. I'm going to read the description, and then I'm going to say the name of the representative that will be making the pitch. Competitor number 1 is Ready for Life. Ready for Life provides support, resources, and guidance to former foster care youth so that they can successfully transition into adulthood. Their solution-based skills center supports youth from the ages of 15 to 25 in homeless prevention, education, and employment, and with Lifeline support networks. It offers a unique learning program, mental health counseling, the community law program, mentor program, health navigation, dental assistance, financial literacy, youth council, Mommy and Me, opportunity passport, keys to independence, and more. The center has a family environment where youth also find basic needs like food and meal kits, personal and hygiene supplies, caring support, and access to laundry and shower facilities. Making their pitch is Kathy Mize.
Did you know that 80% of those on death row spent time in foster care? Did you know 60% of human trafficking victims have a history with our child welfare system? Today, there are 24,000 children and youth in Florida's foster care system. Approximately 10% will turn 18 and age out, taking with them a childhood of trauma, abuse, and neglect that negatively impacts their success as adults. That's where Ready for Life steps in, breaking the cycle, being the solution to this crisis. Ready for Life is a leader and recognized for supporting over 450 young adults that are aging out of foster care every year, and 109 little ones that are their children. For the past 11 years, Ready for Life has served youth aging out of foster care and beyond through our Family Like Skills Center, offering endless second chances, accountability, and a sense of belonging, addressing needs such as employment, education, mental health, transportation, parenting, homelessness, and so much more. Ready for Life is unique. We are unique because the youth voice is at the top of our organization. Those we serve, we listen to and develop programs that meet their needs. Ready for Life's venture is to leverage our expertise in building an organization that is a model that works. The statistics around this population are dismal at best. Ready for Life is changing that every day. Our outcomes and statistics far exceed those on the national level. Today, we are asking for your investment and for the expertise of social venture partners to come beside us and help us create Ready for Life in a box, a model we know works and must be replicated across Florida and beyond. Think back to when you were 18. It probably was a celebration, graduation, a milestone birthday. For those we serve, when they turn 18, it's not a celebratory event. It's a time of fear, anxiety, and facing unknowns. Imagine every young adult that ages out of foster care being ready for life.
What is your marketing plan for selling your concept in a box?
Well, what we would use the investment for would be to bring on an expert or a consultant to help coordinate and oversee and drive this social venture. Ready for Life staff is very small. We have 10 staff and 5 are youth that aged out of foster care. So they are the experts, but this is not something the staff could add to their plate. So we do have a marketing person already in place, but we really need that person that can take this on and move it to the next level.
How many boxes do you want to sell in the first year?
My goal would be 5, to start 5 new Ready for Lives with 1 already well on their way.
Thank you, Kathy. With such a broad scope of services, how do you determine which of your metrics indicate your success?
What we have realized is we cannot be all things to all the youth we serve. We wish we could. So what we have learned over our 11 years, and especially in our last 2 to 3 years, is we do what we do best, and that's serving youth aging out of foster care. What we don't do best, we bring in community partners, like the Public Defender's Office. They put a full-time therapist in our office. Baycare has a health navigator that comes to our office no cost to us. And all of those partnerships go on and on. So we're all under one roof, working together to support this population, and it works and doesn't drain all our resources.
Are there other communities in the country or in Florida that are trying to accomplish similar things? Like, is there a guideline? Is it protocol? You know, how do you get your direction for this?
Well, as I stated, the majority of our direction comes from those we serve. From day one, we ask them, what do you need? What are the barriers? And we have developed everything based on what they've told us. So that's where we are different. There was a model we were looking at initially, and it didn't work for us because it really didn't address the needs that they were facing. Sometimes I think adults, we think we know what they need. And so we are very clear that every part of our organization has their voice and they guide us, and we only do the things that will address the needs that are critical to them. So I don't know of anywhere else where they have a model that's a private organization that doesn't rely on government funding, so we can be nimble and creative, very little red tape, and really make things happen a lot more quickly.
What would you say would be the hardest lesson you've learned in the last few years, and what lesson do you think you can share with others?
Yes, I have staff laughing out there, and I'm sure I know why. As I said, we had a homelessness crisis in our community a few years ago. There were so many of our young adults living on the streets, just sleeping wherever. So we were given a house by Pinellas County Housing Authority, and we thought that would be the answer. So we started housing. all young men that were 18 to 25 years old. Over 3 years, we did help 32 that came through that house. However, we are not experts at housing. It truly became way more than we could handle, and it drained our staff, our resources, and everything we did. So ultimately, we decided we needed to not do that and let those in our community that experts take over, and we refer to them, and we all try and build additional housing options together.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay. Up next. Again, I will read the description, and when I hand the microphone over to the representative, the clock will begin. Feeding Tampa Bay is ending hunger by fueling human potential in every family, child, and senior across 10 counties in the Tampa Bay area. By leveraging the daily connection around a meal, including Trinity Cafe, the charitable restaurant, they are evolving the partnerships, programs, and services with the goal to break down barriers and create long-term health and capability in the lives of the individuals they serve. Feeding Tampa Bay believes that every human being has potential and that hunger should never be a barrier to reaching it. They provide meaningful solutions that include food for today, food for tomorrow, and food for a lifetime. Making their pitch is Mandy Cloninger.
Picture Raymond James Stadium, filled with 60,000 people. Now, imagine 10 Raymond James Stadiums, filled with hungry people all across Tampa Bay. Feeding Tampa Bay invests in human potential to empty those stadiums. We offer solutions, food for today, food for tomorrow, and food for a lifetime. We met Mary during our pilot project for Trinity Cafe to-go meals with Feeding America. She was ashamed to ask for help for her and her 2 daughters and scared about how she might be treated. She texted in to order 3 meals for her and her family, and she arrived at a community-based site where she was greeted with a smile and treated with respect. Our staff and volunteers connected her with the nutritious meal she needed today, but they also connected her to benefits and resources so she could provide food for her family for tomorrow. Mary loved the nutritious option she selected: a chicken breast, mashed potatoes, and broccoli. But Mary wanted the dignity of being able to pay for that meal. What Mary didn't know is that her meal was prepared by a recent graduate of our culinary arts training program, Carmela. Carmela has had challenges gaining employment because of her background and has sometimes relied on our charitable restaurant, Trinity Cafe, for a meal. Carmela gained skills, a certification, and an income through employment, so now she can provide food for herself for a lifetime. With this investment from Fast Pitch, we'll be able to prepare and sell 10,000 meals at a cost of just $2 per meal. We can perfect our price point to sell those meals at $3 a meal and get guest feedback from market research on our distribution methods. We can easily scale our project from 10 to 20 to 100,000 meals all across Tampa Bay to empty those stadiums. 100,000 meals sold means $100,000 in profit to reinvest in our bold goal of a hunger-free Tampa Bay. Next time Mary needs that meal, she can text in and for just $9 feed her family of 3. She's getting a much more nutritious option and spending less than she would at a fast food restaurant. And she's investing in the human potential of a neighbor like Carmela. Won't you choose to invest today and help us change a life one meal at a time? Food for today, food for tomorrow, and food for a lifetime.
Thanks, Mandy. How is Feeding Tampa Bay different than some of the other big names in our area that are addressing hunger?
Actually, Feeding Tampa Bay is the backbone behind all hunger relief in our 10-county area. Last year, we distributed 56 million meals, and we engaged more than 40,000 volunteers to do that, 600 agency partners, and we touch more lives than any other nonprofit in the social services arena in our area.
How many Trinity cafes do you have?
I'm sorry, Eleanor, I
How
didn't
many
hear you.
Trinity cafes do you have right now?
Currently, we have 2 charitable restaurants, Trinity
Okay.
Cafe, 2 here in Hillsborough County, and we're opening our 3rd location in Pinellas in 2020.
And how often will you be selling the meals? Every night, 5 days a week?
We're going to use with this project
Mm-hmm.
Monday through Friday, and we're going to pair it alongside our Trinity Cafe locations
Mm-hmm.
so that we can test and get to the right number each day and really perfect that distribution method.
Okay, and what are the service hours?
So both of our Trinity Cafe locations here in Tampa serve lunch. Our proposed Pinellas location is going to serve an evening meal so that we can reach more working families where this is going to be an option that's really going to appeal to them.
Okay, thanks.
I think you touched on this, giving the example of the woman who's now working there, but are you thinking of other ways to help people get to the point where they don't need the service at all?
Absolutely, and that's why we've invested in our Fresh Force Workforce Development Program. We actually have 3 tracks that leverage our core competencies, which is truck driving, supply and logistics management, and culinary arts. All areas that our organization employs people, trains people, and already partners with major employers that can get someone from a point where they need to rely on us for food so that they can provide food for themselves.
You may have said this, but how long have you been doing this?
So Feeding Tampa Bay is a 40-year-old organization, and Trinity Cafe is about 17 years old. We merged about a year ago and became stronger and better together, and we have a rich history in the Tampa Bay community.
And what are the other major agencies or organizations that are trying to service the same population?
Well, there is a lot of competition in the hunger relief space, and so if you even named one organization that you know that distributes food, I guarantee they're a partner of ours. ECHO's a partner of ours, St. Pete Free Clinic, Metropolitan Ministries here in this community. And when you lift an organization like Feeding Tampa Bay to really imagine a hunger-free Tampa Bay, we're going to lift everyone else. The more food we rescue, the more food is put on the tables of folks in need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to competitor number 3. Saving Our Seniors is a 501c3 nonprofit organization located in Tampa Bay. They fill the gap between Medicare and seniors suffering from financial limitations. Saving Our Seniors provides durable medical equipment, incontinence supplies, and other necessary items to low-income seniors who are living well below the poverty line. Making their pitch is Kelly Casto.
Imagine not being able to take a shower. Now imagine your loved ones, your parents, your grandparents, and even your beloved neighbor unable to shower, not just for a day, but for several weeks. You'd start to feel dirty, isolated, depressed, lonely, and not wanting to socialize with friends and family. Unfortunately, this is a reality for many seniors in our community. Saving Our Seniors collects gently used medical equipment, refurbishes it, and then delivers it to seniors in need. Let me tell you about Elizabeth. Elizabeth recently suffered a stroke, paralyzed on one side, unable to step in her shower, unable to bathe herself, not just for a day or a week, but for 8 months. For 8 months, she contacted local organizations in our area only to be told no. She contacted her insurance, but unfortunately, the item is not covered. Now, Elizabeth lives on less than $800 a month, and after she pays for rent, utilities, transportation, and food, she barely has any money left over. The shower chair that she was in need of cost well over $100. She contacted our organization, Saving Our Seniors, and within 1 day, she had her very own shower chair. Now, you might think it's just a shower chair, but that shower chair provided her the ability to bathe again. It gave her confidence, independence, and a better quality of life. Saving Our Seniors collects the medical equipment, refurbishes it, and then delivers it to seniors in need. 60% of seniors rely on an assistive device, such as a wheelchair and walker, and 40% of those live at or below the poverty line. I created Saving Our Seniors to fill in the gap between Medicare and financial limitations, because as an occupational therapy assistant, on a daily basis, I saw seniors just like Elizabeth struggling with simple tasks that could be prevented. I have personally picked up over 20,000 pieces of medical equipment and have delivered to well over 3,000 seniors while working a full-time job since 2016. This fast-pitch competition can be a game changer for Saving Our Seniors and take this one-woman show to a staff of 2. Tonight, I ask you to make a direct impact and change the way we age in Tampa Bay. Thank you.
If you win, what will you do with the money?
So I actually just started a thrift store, and the thrift store, all the surplus of the wheelchairs, walkers, and hospital beds that we have will be placed on our thrift store, and then that will be able to generate continuous revenue for the nonprofit.
If you won tonight, would you quit your full-time job?
Yes.
Good job.
I'm a little nervous, sorry.
That was a hard commitment. How many clients have you reached? You said 20,000 items, but how
And
many
we've helped
clients?
over 3,000 seniors. And it's, we help about 20 seniors a week. And I do that usually on Sundays when I'm not working. So, and it's only continuing to kind of go up since the more that we're getting more popular in our community.
And how do seniors learn of your services?
It's been word of mouth. I've been a therapist for several years. So it's word of mouth, and then our website, and we've connected with, other senior centers and organizations that, understand how important it is to have that medical equipment from day one. And I sometimes say it will be 5 days, but we typically deliver it out within 1 to 2 days, because as a therapist, I know how important it is for seniors to really have that equipment.
I'm guessing giving the audience you're serving technology can be a barrier for the people when they're reaching out. Have you thought about ways you could use innovation to either get their awareness level up or to track services, things like that?
Currently, they usually just call in, and then we place all their information on our website. We have a form. It has been hard for them. Some of them, or the caregivers, or the people that are working with the seniors, will fill out the application because it's pretty simple. And then once it comes in, within about a half an hour, I'm able to contact them back and let them know when we'll deliver out the equipment.
If you had an unlimited amount of money,
I would save the world.
if you had an unlimited amount of money and you were going to limit your services to the Tampa Bay area, how many people do you think need the help that you're providing?
60% of seniors need an assistive device, and 40% of them live at or below the poverty line. So I currently do service 5 counties, and I'm hoping to service even more. And I've been a little limited because I do work a full-time job, so as much as I want to help so many people, I can't, because I still have to pay my bills. But after I get this social venture fast pitch competition, I can help more and more people.
Okay. Next, we have Ink to Ink. Ink to Ink. You're going to learn a new word tonight. The word entree-zition. I hope my Cuban accent isn't butchering that. Ink to Ink is a nonprofit entree-zition prep program that provides aspiring entrepreneurs who are incarcerated and ex-offenders with the training, the tools, and the resources they need to successfully launch socially impactful startup businesses after prison. Making their pitch is Damon Thrash.
Don't worry, everybody, he didn't break out. My name is Damon Thrash, and I'm the founder of Ink to Ink. Ink to Ink, like she said, is a coaching program to help individuals who are currently and formerly incarcerated launch socially impactful businesses. As a kid, I grew up in extreme impoverished and drug-ridden neighborhoods that I saw a lot of violence, and on every corner, it was an open drug market. It was the height of the crack epidemic. So not long after that, I was introduced to curbside or open street hustling. And before long, I was making more than my teacher. Purchasing Nintendo tapes and sneakers and providing for my family. Fast forward 10 years later, I'm running one of the largest and most profitable cocaine distribution networks in North Florida. At that point, me and my partners, because that's what it was a business, we had accomplished everything that a 19 or 20-year-old kid could imagine, but there was only one thing. There were consequences. So I was abruptly arrested and sentenced to 20 years in prison for distributing over 150 kilos of cocaine. But something astonishing happened while I was inside. I saw so many guys, don't get me wrong, there were so many bad people in prison, but I saw more good than bad. I saw guys that were remarkable entrepreneurs, compassionate people, but they didn't have second chances. And they didn't have programming to be able to expound and transfer those entrepreneurial skills into empowering themselves, their families, and their communities. So I did what I always do. I'm an enterpriser. I created one. Ink to Ink, incarcerated to incorporated. Ink to Ink takes those skills from these people. It gives them the opportunity to identify their talents, transfer those skills over, and then launch that social impact for businesses in the very same communities that they tore down. Natural entrepreneurship. Now, think about this. There are 2.2 million people in prison. At this point, everyone deserves a second chance. Allow Ink to Ink to be that one to give them a second chance. Place your heart where your hustle is, because everyone had one. Help him transform from incarcerated to incorporated. Thank you.
Can you give us a success story from your work?
Absolutely. This young man right here, Sebastian Sergio, he is a remarkable kid, comes from a great family. But in today's society with social media, with all the bad influences out there, Sebastian got into a little bit of trouble. He was referred to a partner of ours called, our partners, I'm excited. Our partners, which are Timothy Initiative, referred him to me. So I cycled Sebastian into the program, and our program is a 12-module program that teaches them reflection marketing, personal development, how to equate their value, and how to transfer their negative hustle into a positive hustle. Well, Sebastian not only aced the program and is a natural-born entrepreneur, Sebastian is also ready to launch his business and also to take off in the entrepreneurial aspirations himself.
If you win, what are you going to do with the money?
Well, we have several social enterprises that are going to fund Ink to Ink. What I'm going to do is 3 things. I'm going to purchase or build out of our online courses, because we have an online coaching platform. So not only people that are incarcerated can take our courses, but people nationwide. There are 70 million people who have a criminal history in the United States. There's 110 million people that know someone who has a criminal history in the United States. So we want that to be, the impact that we bring forth. Secondly, too, we also have housing. I'm gonna put down on my first home, because these guys and these women, they need a place to come that is very calm and relaxed and is entrepreneurially immersed, so they can build out their business and take care of their resources, and take advantage of the resources that we have. So,
When you take a look at people that are on the way into your kind of program, are there some indicators or factors you've learned can identify whether they're likely to succeed or not?
yes. We do an assessment when they come in to see where they are in personal development and where they are in their entrepreneurial skills. During that assessment, we'll be able to identify whether they're not ready, they're almost ready, or they are ready. The ones who are not ready, they'll go through the robust cycle of the program. The ones who are already ready, they'll take our core program modules. The ones who are definitely ready, they'll go into our coaching certification program. And that way they'll learn how to also facilitate our program to different organizations around the country.
The state used to have a work release program. Did they discontinue that?
Yes, sir, they still have one, yes. As a matter of fact, that's one of our targets, to teach the program in work release as they cycle out for reentry.
It's too bad that they discontinued that commentary. But so you've got a large population to serve, right?
Oh, yes.
Right here.
For one, in Florida, there's 105,000 people who are in prison. Of that 105,000 people, roughly 47% of them are nonviolent offenders. 30,000 are released annually. So half of that, roughly, that 15,000 that are nonviolent drug offenders, that's our target market. So we have a very huge target market, and it's 85% national average and state average in recidivism. So with us, we've only had 3 success stories, but we have a 100% success rate. I can say that. So I want to say this too. This is a dream for me because I came from the impossible. And in this country, you hear it all the time, it's cliche, you can do anything. Well, I'm proof that you can do anything in this country. I did 18 years in prison. Developed something that, for a demographic of people who just think life is hopeless, And that in itself, that's what I love this. This is what I love to do. And like the presenter before said she quit her job, well, I already quit mine, So, all right, thank you.
Good job. Good job. Good job. So at this point, you've heard from 4 of the local nonprofits that are competing in this year's SVP Tampa Bay Fast Pitch. There are 3 more waiting in the wings. But first, we have a special treat for all of you. Because this is year 3 of Fast Pitch, we've decided to upgrade the intermission, right? So we're not going to have an intermission. Instead, we would like to give all of you who are out here tonight supporting these nonprofits a gift. And it's the gift that keeps giving. It's the gift that unlocks the potential, the passion that you have inside of you to live your very best life. And the person that's going to be coming on stage is uniquely qualified to help you get that 2020 vision of yourself. This person is helping teenagers in the area of St. Petersburg do this every day. He's an award-winning recording artist with a timeless sound, performing originals and covers of classic hits by Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, Otis Redding. He is also the co-founder of the Arts Conservatory for Teens. In its 7th year in St. Petersburg, ACT provides before and after school programming, educating, empowering, and enriching the lives of underprivileged students. His results with kids, so successful that 5 middle schools in Pinellas County have now brought ACT to their students. Today, ACT meets the needs of over 500 students in the area. Our guest and his co-founder, along with numerous ACT volunteers, leverage their love of the arts to foster confidence, creativity, and a sense of possibility for each and every student they come into contact with. Please welcome Dr. Alex Harris.
Well, good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Are you having a great time listening to all of the wonderful, wonderful work that our community across the Bay, the organizations are doing? Why don't you give them all a hand, even those who have not presented? And also give our wonderful panelists a wonderful round of applause, please. So when I was asked to participate in this wonderful event tonight, I thought about our slogan for the Arts Conservatory for Teens. Our slogan is, "What inspires you?" We wanted to continue to evoke that inward look in each individual, specifically the students that we serve, to be awakened to that positivity that each possesses. And we believe as an organization, and my team and I, that more often than not, we are tainted by the distractions that occur, whether it's in social media or the traditional media, that we often lose sight of the inspiration that we have. Now, some find inspiration in various disciplines or careers. We use the arts as a catalyst to evoke that inspiration, that the students have an opportunity to discover and uncover their hidden gifts and talents that will help them to trail a path that will lead to their fullest potential for their highest level of success. Now, it was alluded to in the introduction, some of the things that we have been so fortunate to engage. But one of the questions we ask ourselves in an effort to continue to evoke that inspiration that each has, and that is, what problem are we solving in the development of what we do? I think it's very important to say what problem are we solving, or at least make it an attempt by addressing a specific problem in our community or in our workplace or wherever we are that we want to kind of give back in some kind of way, whether it's working in a for-profit company or a non-for-profit company. I think that we should look deep inside, discover that inspiration in a way that it is addressing an issue. The issue that we address and continue to address is accessibility. Accessibility for quality arts education that's being taught by qualified teaching artists. And these artists focus on not only teaching the students a skill set, whether it's acting or dancing or cinematography or visual arts, painting, sketching, game coding, but they also focus on character principles, those things that we know that will be with them forever, regardless if they choose to go down a path of becoming a great musician or actor or producer or what, developing great character. So we've integrated that into the curriculum to introduce these concepts and principles to the students that they have an experience, a holistic educational experience. So before school, 5 days a week, we have our teaching artists on campus addressing that in an effort to not only inspire, but also to raise an awareness that will help to ameliorate behavior in many ways. And if I tell you, we have seen many of our students take a trajectory in a 180 direction from where they were in improving not only in their behavior, but also their academic potential as well. How do we know? It's not just the great stories, but we collect data. We have a third-party evaluator that comes once a year at the end of the academic year and evaluate so that we're collecting data. That's very critical and very important for us because if we want to not only look at the problem that we're solving, but we want to know also measure how we are addressing and how effective we are in our efforts to address a specific issue. I think in everything that we do in discovery of our inspiration, we should take a moment to reflect. It doesn't have to be formal, but in situations where you're running a company, I advise you that you should consider doing that, taking a more formal way. But reflection is very important because it allows us not only to appreciate in some moments, but also see where there is opportunity to impact even greater. We don't say, well, what we did wrong or right. It's more so where there's opportunity. We are always learning. So some people look at it as a mistake or a failure. I look at it as opportunity. So I want to encourage each of you. I'm an artist, a performing artist, that is, songwriter and producer. And one of the things growing up in rural Georgia, we had little access. And so I wanted to make sure that not only on my path to success, that I didn't wait to give back, but I learned to give back along the way, something that I learned from my parents. And that is what continues to inspire me and to find more and more inspiration that I can exude positivity in every aspect of my efforts to develop a clear path for the students that we serve. So I want to really leave you with this thought that it doesn't matter what it is that you do, and you don't have to feel that you have to be a part of a specific quote unquote charity or some nonprofit to give back, even though that is always great. But I think the most important thing is discovering and uncovering that hidden positiveness that you have inside that inspires you. And if you have not discovered it, I think you should give it some thought and say what it is that inspires me, that I can share that inspiration in some way in my community, on my job, or some other, with volunteering for some of these great organizations, or some of our great organizations, I should say. So I want you to be inspired, be encouraged to do that so that we can continue to make change far beyond our imagination. And so thank you. One of the, before I leave the stage, I'm also going to perform. And thank you. A song that I'm going to perform is called Millionaire. And this song just was released on Friday, on Love Day, and February the 14th. And so it's everywhere, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. And I was very fortunate to do a deal with the Orchard Sony Music Entertainment and release this song along with many others this year. And the song talks about, the importance of love. And I posted something yesterday it was on social media about is one thing to feel like a millionaire, as the song talks about, when we receive love, but it's another thing when we can give the love that we receive, give it back. So it becomes this reciprocal relationship, not just in a romantic relationship, but also with those who we don't really even know. And you say, well, how do you do that, Alex? Well, you can do it by maybe holding the door for someone you don't know 200 feet away or so. Or you can do it by offering a smile or a respectful compliment to someone. So I think it's very important, and that's what we do every day. It is my effort to continue to use my gifts and talents, whether it's with the Arts Conservatory for Teens and the curriculum that we develop, or with my songwriting and performances on stages around the world. I want to continue to evoke that inspiration, that it raises the question inside, what it is that really inspires me. And when I discovered what inspires me, I was able to formulate and solve a problem that I saw in our community. And so that's what I want you to leave with tonight. But in the meantime, let's have a little fun while we wait for the other three organizations. When we start the track, I want you to just clap a little bit. And if you feel like moving a little bit and dancing, you can do that too. So the person you're sitting next to, say, be inspired. Okay, come on, that sounds like you're about to fall asleep. Say, be inspired. One more time, be inspired. All right, so make some noise in here. Come on. All right, I'm ready. That's it. Yeah. They say love is more precious than gold. Yeah, it can't be bought, no, and it can't be sold. So I've got love enough to spare. That makes me a millionaire. Oh, and I've got a woman with eyes that shine down deep as a diamond mine. Oh, yeah, she's my treasure so very rare. She make me a millionaire. And I know, when we ride around this old town in a beat-up car with the windows down, yeah, people look at her, they look at me and say that boy sure living in luxury, sweet luxury. Everybody say love, oh, more precious than gold. Let me see you, come on. And it can't be bought, no, and it can't be sold. And if you want to stand up and sing it, come on. I got love, there you go. I said enough to spare. That's it, come on. Said that makes me, I want to feel the love in the room tonight. All this good service going on. Oh. When the kisses fall from everywhere, life reaches on a millionaire. When my pockets are empty, my cupboard bare, I still feel like a millionaire, 'cause I got love, oh, more precious than gold, and it can't be bought, no, and it can't be sold. I said I got love enough to spare. And that makes me, oh yeah, a millionaire. makes me a millionaire. All the people doing the good things tonight, I want you to be inspired, yeah. That makes me, that makes me, that makes me, that makes me, yeah, that makes me a millionaire. That makes me, yeah, a millionaire. Woo!
All I want to say is that when the Super Bowl comes to town, we're all going to vote for Dr. Alex Harris to be the halftime show, right? Somebody should call Mayor Castor tonight. Okay. All right. So at this point, I'd like to bring our judges, our panel of judges, back to the judging table, and we are going to pick up where we left off with our final three competitors. Please welcome back our judges: Eleanor Saunders, Emily Sokash, Rich Mullins, and Louis Orloff. The Little Saint Nick Foundation is a registered 501c3 nonprofit organization, and it has the mission of kids inspiring and helping kids. Its mission is twofold: help kids and families in need who are going through difficult times, and inspire kids and young adults to give back to those children in need. The Little Saint Nick Foundation was founded by Raymond Moeller Jr. in 2004 when he was just 6 years old. Raymond had suffered from a rare childhood hip disorder, and he felt very fortunate not to have a life-threatening illness, so he decided as a little boy to give back to the kids that he had left behind at the hospital. Making the pitch, now in his 20s, is Raymond.
Thank you. My story began when I was just 4 years old. I woke up one morning with pain in both of my hips and I couldn't walk. Not knowing what to do, my parents immediately took me to the hospital. This was a very traumatic experience for me because not only did I not know what was wrong with me, but I had nothing to do to keep my mind off what I was going through. And I was in a children's hospital where all these other children were going through the same thing. It created a very hectic environment. Luckily, I was able to leave the hospital later that day, and I was diagnosed with a rare hip joint disease called leg-calf Perthes. This was something I was able to treat outside the hospital, and I'm all cured today. Thank you. Thank you. However, on the way home, I said to my parents, what about those other kids I saw in the hospital? They get to go home too. They said, well, no. Some of them have to stay there for days or months or years, and I just couldn't believe that. So as my birthday was approaching, which is Christmas Eve, I said to my parents, I want to give back my birthday and Christmas gifts to the hospital I was at. And they said, sure, we'll help you however we can. And right after I turned 5 years old, I went back to the hospital and I donated my birthday and Christmas gifts. The following year, thank you. The following year, I said, this was such a gratifying feeling, I need to do more. So I went around my local neighborhood in Lynbrook, New York, and I collected money and toys from friends and family, and we donated 3 times the amount of toys to the hospital I was at when I was 6 years old. And clearly this was something I was passionate about, and my parents said to me, if you want to keep doing this, we'll help you form a foundation. And now I stand here tonight in front of you all, 16 years later, over 2 million children and families in need helped, doing things like ringing the closing bell at the New York Stock Exchange. And today, the Little Saint Nick Foundation not only helps kids in need, but we inspire kids in local communities to give back to kids in need. And we do this through turnkey programs that allow children of all ages to volunteer all year long. One of these programs is our emergency department gift bag, where every child who enters the emergency department receives a gift bag to take their mind off their stress and anxiety. We also have the Nicholas Zanotto Family Care Package, a new program named after a 7-year-old boy who lost his life in the same hospital I was at after battling for 4 months with a rare disease. This care package provides families of long-term patients with everyday essential items that they may not have while they're living in the hospital with their child. Both of these programs are packed by our volunteers monthly in New York and here in Tampa Bay and distributed to the hospitals monthly. We also have a toy drive that is annually where our volunteers collect thousands of toys that go to children in the hospital throughout the year. Our goal is to launch student organizations across Florida and the Tampa Bay area as our social venture that'll not only carry out our programs, but they will fundraise to become self-sufficient and carry out our mission of kids inspiring and helping kids. Thank you.
So if you win, what will you do with the money?
Yeah, so I'm a senior at University of Tampa. We created a pilot program, student organization there. Our student organization president is here tonight, and it's been going really well. And we found this model through a student organization called St. Jude Up Till Dawn, and they're a partner with St. Jude. And St. Jude has over 100 student organizations across the country that not only carry out their mission, but their main goal is to fundraise through platforms they provide for them. And student organizations vary from $10,000 to $40,000 a year that they raise. So with the $15,000, we would use that as startup costs for 15 new student organizations at different universities in Tampa, stuff like our licensing materials, our gift bag programs, since they'll be starting with no money. And the goal for each student organization will be to raise 10 grand year one, generating 150,000 year one, and that has a lot of room to grow as the St. Jude student organizations I've seen range from $10,000 to $40,000. And we're going to be following a similar platform where the students will create teams, they'll recruit other students, people in the communities to get involved, and they're raising money to come to an event that we're going to throw them where they're going to be able to upload videos to our website to sick kids in hospitals.
You mentioned that you have programs that encourage kids to volunteer. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so our two gift bag programs are our cookie cutter. They're our turnkey operations where in New York we have an office, so it's a little different. That's more of our chapter. The student organizations are separate from us, they're partnered. So we want to have a chapter here that works hand in hand with the student organizations where monthly we're having these events, we're telling them about why they're doing what they're doing, the importance of service to others, why they should give back. They pack these bags on the assembly line. They make get well cards that go into the gift bags. We have our annual toy drive where volunteers collect thousands of toys. We distributed over 2,000 toys last year in 2019, and we impacted over 250,000 children and families.
So if I understand you correctly, what you're trying to do is set up a local chapter, but how,
Right.
what's the geographic area of what you're trying to cover?
Yeah, to start is the Tampa Bay area. Like I said, we have the pilot program at UT. There's probably 6 or 7 other colleges, universities in the area that we'd like to expand to. We work with Morton Plant Meats Countryside currently. That's where our gift bags go to since 2018, so we're new to the area. But definitely the surrounding area from Tampa Bay, and this is our main focus to start. And we encourage our student organizations, don't just have events on campus, don't get people involved on campus. Go out into the community. In New York, we have 2-year-olds packing our gift bags and making get well cards. And it's knowing that other people care about you, but when the kids and families receive something that they know other children care about them, it has a special touch.
It sounds like you're going to be very reliant on bringing in troops of volunteers to start up this. What plan do you have to keep those people engaged in the long term?
Yeah, there's a lot of high variance in the student organizations, and it starts at the top with the leadership, whomever the president is, as well as the faculty advisor. In the chapter setting like we have in New York, we constantly have more than enough volunteers coming because we've been out in the community. So starting these student organizations where we have a few students, access to thousands of kids on a campus, we'll be able to branch out into those communities. But it comes back down to me being able to inspire. Then we have a set of guidelines and processes for the student organizations that we come up that make it cookie cutter, very easy for them to not only carry out our programs, how to host events, how to manage people. There's a big entrepreneurial aspect to this as well. So not only are people giving back, they're learning real world experience. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Next, we have Preserve the Berg. I'm going to read the description, and again, the clock will begin as soon as I hand over the microphone to the representative. Preserve the Berg works to keep St. Petersburg special. The nonprofit believes in the importance of maintaining the city's unique sense of place, enhancing the quality of life of its residents, and encouraging economic vitality. Through walking tours, movies in the park, lectures and panel discussions, porch parties, preservation awards, Preserve the Burg educates residents and visitors about the unique cultural and architectural history of St. Pete and celebrates those places that make it such a special place to live and work. It's committed to guiding and shaping conversations about what the community values enough to preserve, and it also advocates for appropriate guidelines on the management of historic properties, neighborhoods, and resources with city officials. Making the pitch is Monica Kyle.
Hello, it's great to be here in the beautiful Tampa Theater. You know, this building's almost 100 years old. It was opened in 1926. It was designed by the country's foremost architect of grand movie palaces, John Eberson. You see that peacock perched up there? That was Eberson's signature. He snuck one into every theater that he designed. St. Pete used to have two theaters very similar to this, right downtown on Central Avenue. They were both demolished in the 1960s for parking lots. Preserve the Burg didn't exist back then. Eberson designed 100 theaters like this throughout the United States, and only 16 of them are still standing. Isn't that a shame? Not just for those communities that lost a beautiful historic venue, but for the environment, because those 84 demolished theaters, they're sitting in our landfills right now. And a huge amount of energy was wasted to build something new in their place. Did you know that it can take up to 80 years for the most energy efficient building to make up for the amount of carbon that was spent constructing it? The truth is, the greenest building is the one that's already built. And old buildings are special, and they're important for our economy. They house our small businesses. They cultivate artists, and they incubate tech firms. They're home to our favorite bookstores and coffee shops, boutiques and bars. They make our communities special because they make our communities different from everywhere else. Preserve the Burg works to keep St. Petersburg special. We like to say we educate, advocate, and celebrate. We advocate with city leaders and private developers to protect historic buildings and neighborhoods. We celebrate by having events and historic venues throughout the city. And we educate through lectures and our historic tour program, which is what I want to talk to you about tonight. Our tour program is popular, and it's poised for tremendous growth. We offer walking tours every Saturday, October through April. We draw about 30 people per tour. We charge $10 per person. We offer occasional bike and bus tours, and those sell out within hours of us announcing them. And no one else is doing this in St. Pete, so we've got a corner on the market. So we're ready to expand. We'd like to offer tours throughout the season, throughout the year, and offer regularly scheduled bike and bus tours, because that's what hotel concierges tell us that their guests want. But we need funding to do that. We'd like to pay more staff to help us with scheduling, marketing, registrations. Our tour program doesn't just make money for us, it makes members, and members make a difference. In October, Preserve the Burg was able to prevent the demolition of 2 historic buildings downtown. We did that by mobilizing our 1,200 members for a huge community response. That's how you save a building like the Tampa Theater. When a guest leaves the Preserve the Burg tour, we hope they'll take with them some special piece of information that'll connect them to a special place in their community, like John Eberson's peacock. Now that you know he's there, could you sit idly by while somebody tried to tear down his beautiful historic home? Thank you. Thanks.
If you won the $15,000, how many more tours could you add over the next year?
We think we would about double. So we do between 60 and 75 right now, depending on how many specialty tours we do. So we'd go 120, something like that. We want to test a pilot program this summer and sort of seeing how that goes. We anticipate probably doubling in 2021. How much of that net? Well, right now we net about roughly $10,000 for our tours. We anticipate that we would triple it. We'd have to make some changes to the way our fee structure is scheduled right now, because what I didn't mention is that Preserve the Burg members get to tour for free currently. So that may be, if there's any members out here, that may be changing during the pilot program.
Are there any types of tours that you would like to expand into that would be both interesting and profitable for you?
Well, our bike tours are hugely profitable and they have really low overhead. We partner with Coast Bike Share. People can bring their own bike or they can rent a Coast Bike Share, so we pay them very little. Right now, we have all volunteer guides. We have sketched out paying guides too. But right now, our bike tours really make the most money for us because we can charge more for them because everybody wants to do them. So we would probably stick with bike, bus, and walking tours, although one of our board members works in the helicopter industry and he keeps wanting to do helicopter tours. So we may do that for him.
Are there some lessons from similar or parallel programs in other cities that you've drawn on?
Yes, so I'm sort of loosely modeling us right now after the Historic Savannah Foundation, because they're kind of the leaders in all things historic preservation. They sold their tour company in the 90s to Gray Line Tours for 6 figures. I think they've regretted doing that a little bit, and I feel like that's a decision we'll make when we get there. Tour companies tend to sell at, I don't know the business lingo, but basically double their earnings. So there's a term for that. Whether or not we would want to do that, we'll have to decide when we get there. And I think we'll get there.
So are you trying to preserve the historical feel, let's say, of St. Petersburg, in order to support the reason to have tours?
No.
Or are you
The
having tours in order to
the
support
tours-
the reason to preserve?
The tours absolutely support our mission. I mean, it really is John Eberson's peacock. We have found, first off, that as our tours increase, our membership increases proportionally, almost directly. And the more members we have, the more city council listens to us, and the more successful we are in preserving buildings. So it's absolutely about the mission, but it's great that they make money too. That's a nice bonus for us. Thank you.
Last, but certainly not least, is Lift University. This is a post-secondary program created to meet the needs of young adults with neurodiversities who, upon leaving high school, have little to no options for furthering their education. At Lift University, the staff seeks to equip these young adults with the tools necessary to live independently, to become self-sufficient, and to become purpose-driven problem solvers. Lift University is built upon 4 pillars: career preparation and employability, social and emotional skills development, independent living practices, and literacy. Making the pitch is Lois Mays.
In the United States of America today, there are 866,000 young adults. Hannah, stay right here with me. There are 866,000 young adults who at one time walked across a stage much like this and were handed a certificate of attendance. And about 90% of those certificates were perfect attendance. See, they show up. Those students showed up every day for school, every day, wanting everything that they had coming to them. The problem is that the public schools did them a disservice, a great disservice. See, they weren't prepared. They weren't prepared for these young people who were looking at them with eyes of hope, like, feed me, feed me. They were getting the leftovers, and it's not acceptable. My name is Lois Mays, and I'm a former high school principal in the public school system. I grew up in Pinellas County, going to Pinellas County schools. My mother was an educator in Pinellas County. I was an administrator in Pinellas County, left Pinellas County, and went away to the state of Tennessee and Alabama. And in the schools I worked with there, I saw much of the same thing. Every year, as my students would walk across the stage, it was either a diploma or a certificate of attendance. And if it was a certificate of attendance, it was like being at the fair. You get a ticket to ride, you get a ticket to watch. It's not acceptable that some get a ticket to ride and some get a ticket to watch. I came home to Florida, and I was hungry to get back into the school system and I met with my nephew, Brian Martin. I said, Brian, Guy, what have you been doing, Guy? When I left, I was at your graduation. And then I got on a plane and I went to Alabama to work with schools there. What have you been doing? What did VR do for you? Well, I vacuumed the floor in the house this week, and I mowed the lawn. And what businesses are you in? Well, the cafe that I was working for, they closed. So there's nowhere for me to go. And I said, what do you mean? Well, my VR coach was said there was just nothing right now, so I have to sit and wait. This is Hannah Torup. Hannah Torup graduated from high school last year. Hannah came out of the public school system where she was being bullied, where she was not in love with life, and Hannah Torup found Lift University. Hannah Torup is now in an internship where she's working with toddlers with disabilities. Brian Martin has 3 jobs. He works for Studio Movie Grill, he works for Pinellas Park Church of Christ, and he cleans Lift University. Lift University is a transition program for young adults with neurodiversities, and we're changing lives one at a time. We may be a small nonprofit, but with your help, we can be great, grand, and wonderful, and do big things.
So how would you use the funding from tonight's program, should you be
Okay.
awarded, and how will you turn it into more money?
Okay, so within our program, within Lift University, we have 3 social enterprises. One of them is Lift You Cleaning Crew, one of them is Lift Your Heart, and one of them is Lift Your Fork Catering. And in those 3 companies, we have 3 directors, 3 program managers. We need another program manager because out of one of our businesses, which is Lift You Cleaning Crew, Studio Movie Grill stepped up and said, I want to see this. They saw our students and they said, do you know that for every 20 jobs there are in maintenance, there's 1 applicant that's qualified? We'll take all your students. Well, I said, just come and watch and see what they do. They came and they watched our students and he said, I want to hire them all and benefits. Well, great. Well, then, that's great, right? Well, then a realtor heard about what was happening and talked to this general manager and said, is this for real? What's going on? And so the realtor called and said, can we get your students to stage our homes? This would be perfect. They're meticulous. They show up every day. They work so hard for everything that they get, but they always get the leftovers. They're getting the best now. They're getting the best at Lift University. And so this realtor said, do you do landscaping by any chance? Well, as a matter of fact, we do now. We do now. Lift You Cleaning Crew is going to expand into Lift You Landscaping. And with that, we need another program manager. It's going to cost us about $24,000 to get that program manager. And if you all want to give us the entire amount, we will take that and more, because you know what else? We need a building. We don't even have a school. We meet in the back of a church. We need a building for our school. Our students say every day, are we getting the building tomorrow, Miss Mays? It's coming, isn't it? It's a big, great things are coming. We're getting the building tomorrow. Yes, we are. Okay, maybe not tomorrow, but we will be getting it. We've got a bus, right, guys? Nobody thought we'd get a bus. We got a bus. So we're going to have a school. It's next. The Lift You Landscaping Crew is next on our agenda. Lift Your Heart, and since August, has brought in $10,000. These little bags you have here on your desk that say, for such a time as this is the time that we rise. We don't take leftovers, we take the best. And inside this is bars of soap that our students make. Change your life. You'll be smelling great and feeling great. And so businesses hire us to come and do things like these goodie bags. This is for a church event, these bags that they made. Our girls will work in there, in-house, and learn these skills so that they can go out and be employees. They've never had opportunities to do that before. Did you just raise the sign? Oh, okay, I thought someone was looking. They haven't had those opportunities. We're doing that every day in school. You want to know why our transition program is different? The University of Central Florida, I'm just going to say this, I'm going to call it out. The state of Florida gave them $5 million to have a transition program. Do you know how much Lift University gets? Not a dime from the state. We completely are reliant upon your funds. We need your help. We don't get $5 million from the state, but our students get everything in the world out of this program. They don't sit at home on a couch. They get out, they come to school every day. Sometimes they're waiting for us to arrive. And we are family. The reason our program works is because every one of those program managers that's sitting over there and that are here tonight are here 5 nights a week out of the week with these students. They build relationships with them, and it's life-changing. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard from all 7 of our nonprofits. Okay.
I can't tell you how inspired I am by tonight's event. When we set out to do Social Venture Partners Fast Pitch, our goal was to celebrate people doing great work in our community. We as a society put a little too much emphasis on entertainers and sports figures and not enough on the people who are really making our communities great. And those are some of the people that you saw tonight. And that's why Social Venture Partners exists. Social Venture Partners is to help those organizations do greater things. If you look at the word venture partners in the description of Social Venture Partners, it's meant, as you heard Eleanor say, it's to take some of the business attributes and help those passionate CEOs and founders of our great nonprofits in this community. That's what makes a community. And if you're inspired by this, as I am, I welcome you to do several things. Either reach out and join SVP, and as you saw in your program, we're an international organization doing this around the world. But also, more importantly, you can reach out, doesn't matter, they're all winners tonight, but you can reach out to one of those organizations that inspired you and contact them. They need board members, they need mentors, they need people who can bring life experience to help them, achieve their goals. And they need funding. So if it's in your heart to give money to some of these organizations, please, please do it. I also want to thank my partners. We're a team effort, and it takes a team to make anything successful. And Social Venture Partners is made up of engaged people who care about their community. So please thank my partners. A lot of them are here tonight. Also, this event could not have come off as well as it has if it wasn't for my assistant, Kira McGraw. And we've had several great sponsors and several great partners. In your program, you see some mention about St. Pete Group and Catalyst for Good. And if you want to learn more about it, please reach out to our websites and find about it. A little plug for the Catalyst, those of you who haven't been reading it. The Catalyst is the mechanism to communicate issues and things going on in our community. And we have featured these 7 organizations in the Daily Catalyst, and you can go on there and see videos about them as well. But our most important partner is the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay. They've been with us. They have been with us from day one. They have supported us. They have given us the ability to launch what we are and to provide guidance and provide relationships and to provide just being there for us, as well as providing, some of the money that we're giving out tonight. So I'd like to welcome Marlene and Jesse from Community Foundation Tampa Bay to say a few words and hopefully to give out the prizes.
This is so exciting. When I first moved here 7 years ago, I came to this theater. It looks a whole lot different now. What an incredible job this organization has done to preserve this Tampa treasure. So it's a pleasure to be here. At the Community Foundation, it's our mission to make giving easy. And I know we have a whole audience full of philanthropists out there. If there's any way we can help you to do more for the causes you care about, please contact us. That's our goal in life. We do that by connecting people to resources, nonprofits to resources, people to people. And we take great pride in doing that. When SVP got started some years ago, it seemed like a natural fit for us to partner with them because that's what they're doing. They're using their business acumen, their experience, and the generosity of their hearts to work with nonprofit leaders. And I think the results are incredible when you see the presentations people have made on this stage today. There are a lot of the partners in the audience. Would you please stand so people can recognize you? And thank you for your time. I would encourage all of you who are here to think about joining SVP and its partners. Besides the great work they do and the time and attention they give our nonprofits, they're also a pretty fun group to hang out with, I can tell you. So I hope you'll give that some consideration. I'd like you to introduce you to my colleague, Jesse Coraggio, who heads up our Community Impact Program. He joined us about, 2 years ago now?
A year and 5 months.
A year and 5, but who's counting?
Right.
Jesse?
Thanks, Marlene. Marlene, you did a pretty good job. We were concerned, as you can tell, Marlene's losing her voice a little bit. And she said, if I lose my voice, you're going to have to come up and you're going to have to channel your inner Marlene and come up here and do this for me. But I think you did pretty good. This is just amazing. Lizette used the term passion, and we certainly saw passion out here tonight. Alex used the word inspired, and I certainly feel inspired. I get to work with our family of philanthropists and work with the community, with the nonprofits to put strategic investments into our community. And what I know about our nonprofits is many are under-resourced. Many don't have the resources they need to help the communities they work with every day. But what I saw out here today was something that was more invaluable than money, more valuable than prize money, and that's a voice. And that's giving a voice to the voiceless. That's giving a face to the faceless. This skill as advocacy is something that's so special that SVP gave the voice to these nonprofits. We need to all work as a community to give that voice out to that community, and we need to get out there and build a better community and make a difference. So thank you.
So there is a third place winner, and it's Preserve the Berg. The second place winner, Feeding Tampa Bay.
And what everyone is waiting for, the winner of our third annual SVP Fast Pitch is Saving Our Seniors.
So tonight, our audience choice was Lift University. And then we have one more award that we give out each year to an organization that has stayed with Social Venture Partners and put a lot of effort into working with our partners and developing and growing and innovating in the right direction with social enterprise. And this year, that award goes to Wellbelt Bikes.
Okay, and so before you go, we would like to have the representatives, our pitchers for tonight, to please all come up. The pitchers for each nonprofit to please come up to the stage so that we can take a group picture for the class of 2020 SVP Tampa Bay Fast Pitch.